Hi viewers, welcome to another wonderful episode on your favorite talk show on Serenity TV. So today we'll be discussing a very interesting topic. As usual, we'll bring you the best topic and interesting conversations to listen to. So with me in the studio today are leaders from Road Tractor Clubs in Imo State. So sirs and ma'am, I would like you to introduce yourself to our viewers out there.
Thank you very much, my
You're welcome.
uncle. Hello, my viewers. I am Retractor Thomas Zubuna of the Rotra Club of Futo. I am the incoming district editor in chief and also the convener of Imotech Fair 2025.
You're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you for having us, Miss Gloria. I am Utibe Emmanuel, popularly known as Milo, the retractor of the Rotary Club of World Bank, and of course, the incoming zonal learning facilitator for Rotary Clubs in Imo. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello viewers, my name is Rotaractor Ikechukwu Ovaba, a past president of the Rotary Club of World Bank, a past district public image chair of Rotary Design 142, the 7th district editor-in-chief of Rotary Design 142, and the incoming leader of Rotary Clubs in Imo starting July 1st. Thank you very much, and we are good to be here. Thank you so much, Miss Gloria.
You're
Thank
welcome. You all are welcome to the studio.
God bless you.
So today we'll be discussing youth as leaders of today. So we youth as leaders of today, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think we youth as youth leaders of today and tomorrow, we are actually doing what we're supposed to do as leaders? Are we active when it comes to different sectors in Nigeria, in the economy as a whole, Nigeria as a whole, when it comes to different sectors? Do you think we youth are actually active and we're doing what we are supposed to do to attain that leadership of tomorrow and even presently?
Thank you very much, our uncle, for that question. Before I actually say something on that, we need to really know what a youth means. We need to know the meaning of youth. And before I go into defining or telling us what or who a youth is, I would like to first of all say that it has been an age-long story. Before I became a boy, I've always been told that youth are the leaders of tomorrow.
Yes.
And now I'm advancing. They are still telling me that youth are the leaders of tomorrow. So when will the tomorrow come? Because it seems like before tomorrow comes, it becomes today.
Exactly.
In other words, that's why we want to change the narrative by saying that we are actually the youth, the leaders of today. So, who is a youth? A youth is actually, etymologically, that is from the root meaning, is from the Proto-Germanic word, jugentis, which means ability. So, youth are young people with energy, with ability, with strength, with the creativity, with the innovation to get tasks delivered. So that's who a youth is. And that's why in the Bible, yes, I'm not trying to sound religious, but the Bible says, serve you the Lord your God now that you're a youth.
Yes.
That is a message. So it's talking about now, which is today. So it says, use your energy, use your strength now that you're a youth to produce something. So we are here to tell our viewers that you as the youth, we are actually the leaders of today. And that is why we're here. So when you say, when you talk about youth as the leaders of today, you're asking what are we doing to actually bring this thing into a reality, not just a
Not just saying
statement.
it.
So now when you talk about that, I'm here to tell you that one, that as the leaders of today, we first of all have to remove that allegory of the cave. That is, for me, I feel it's a deception, saying that we are the leaders of tomorrow. So the first point of starting is us telling ourselves that we are the leaders of today. And then how do we assume this office of being the leaders of today? One, it starts with knowing that every little action we take forms our personality, it forms our perception into holding offices tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow is coming, but before it comes, it becomes today. So now it goes further to stress on how are you managing your today. Okay, maybe you have the aspiration of being a governor of Imo State tomorrow, but now you're not taking on any leadership summit. You don't associate yourself with people in higher than you in knowledge, in experience, and all of these things. So, how do you then become the leader of tomorrow? You understand? When you're not making those positive, impactful actions on yourself today by taking on skills, by taking on several things to build yourself, capacity building. You understand? So that is what we are hinting on. That if we take that notion of being the leader of tomorrow, we continue to wait and
And
tomorrow
it's
never
never
comes.
comes.
So
Yeah.
it's about us assuming the noun. You understand? And that is why in philosophy of time, we define time as a non-spatial continuum. What it means is just an empty space lying.
Keeps going.
So time exists no matter independent of what you're doing. But what makes time meaningful are those events you feel in the time. You understand? So, as the leaders of today, we are being asked to start filling our time every moment with those meaningful things that will give us the opportunity to take on leadership positions. Because if we don't do this, if you are given that opportunity, you are going to flop. You understand? So that's what it actually means when you talk about leaders of youth as the leaders of today. But before we go into other things we can do as youth to actually take the ownership of today, I would like my fellow speakers to also air their own view. Thank you very much.
Ms. Choma, let's hear from you.
All right, thank you very much.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
very much, Mr. Ikechukwu. That was actually very thorough. Now, I want to start from the beginning as
Go
well.
ahead.
So, I actually do still believe that youths are the leaders of tomorrow
Okay.
because there is no tomorrow without today.
Okay.
Yeah. So, growing up, we had that notion: youths are the leaders of tomorrow. Youths are the leaders of tomorrow. And when I asked, what's the meaning of that? They said, of course, youths would grow into taking bigger positions, right? So they were not particular about um, positions, they were particular about bigger positions. What about other positions? Does it mean that those who occupy those positions are not leaders? So growing up, actually, I was a sanitary prefect from my primary 3 down to my SS2, right? So um when I advanced, continue advancing after puberty and all that, I understood that that person who helped me, in after classes, that person who helped me to organize students to actually stay tidy up the class, that person who saw a wrap on the floor and actually picked it up and put. That person was showing example, and that person too is a leader. So leaders, they show the way, they know the way, and they go the way, right? So imagine someone looking out from the class and then seeing someone pick that up and actually put it. That's inspiration. That's saying that yes, I too can do that. And trust me, when you pass the hallway and then you see a wrap, you remember what that person did. You'd actually bend and pick it. So that's actually my ideology, saying that youth are the leaders of today and also the leaders of tomorrow. So I still concur with the fact that youths are leaders of today and leaders of tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Ms. Choma. Mr. Uti, let's hear you.
All right, thank you so much, Miss Gloria. Just like the first speaker, Mr. Retractor Ikechukwu, and of course Retractor Choma said, I want to align my ideology with theirs, but more likely with that of Choma. Yes, the youth are actually the leaders of today and of course youth of tomorrow. Now, I want us to come from the aspect of first defining what leadership is. Leadership comes in different forms. When we talk about leadership, even as a boy, you can actually be a leader. As a youth, you can be a leader. As a man, a full-grown adult, you can also be a leader. So leadership actually comes in different forms and substances. Now, what is leadership? It's actually your ability to influence decision. So if as a person, if you can wake up every morning and then you decide on your own the activities you need to take on for that day, you are actually a leader. You are leading yourself, because first and foremost you need to lead yourself before you can lead others. So when we're talking about leadership, we need to look at the sphere we are talking about. Is it the leadership in the aspect of family, self leadership, or a secular leadership? So that's the aspect I want to come from. And of course, if you should ask me if youth are actually the leaders of today, I will tell you categorically that yes, youth are actually doing a whole lot today in Nigeria in particular to be seen as leaders of today and of course leaders of tomorrow as well. Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome, sir. So, talking about leadership, what do you think? What does youth leadership mean in Nigerian context, in the context of Nigeria today? What does youth leadership mean in the context of Nigeria? Because in Nigeria as a whole now, when we say youth are leaders, we go to many places and we see that though we say youth are leaders of tomorrow, youth are leaders of today, but we go to and we see that these particular youths are not allowed to take so a lot of positions. They still allow the old ones there to do what they are doing, and they still tell you that youth are the leaders of tomorrow. So what do you think youth leadership mean in the context of Nigeria today? What does it mean as a youth to have youth leadership? What does it mean in Nigerian context?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. For me to answer or attempt this question, first of all, I will have to let us and the viewers know that the presence of evil does not actually remove the good that should be. Now, Nigeria is a system where we record both corruption of value as well as people who are actually being true as true citizens of Nigeria, who are making positive effort to rewrite some ugly tales about our dear country. So when you talk about the place of the youth, yes, in most cases you will see that these youths who are supposed to actually be taking up responsibilities of rewriting these ugly tales allow themselves to be used as bets. They allow themselves to be used as thugs during political times, and then to
Yes.
carry away ballot boxes and then all of those things. Yes, but then this now begs on the question of those of us who has this right value. What effort are we putting in place to inspire other leaders to actually know this is what we're supposed to be doing and not the other way around?
Yeah.
So when you talk about youth leadership, it's just about, like you did say, there are 5 golden rules of leadership. The number one is self-mastery, because nobody is ready to follow a coward.
Doesn't know
And
what
first of all, you have to know your strength, your weakness, the opportunities you have, and the threats. So you need to discover yourself, which is self-mastery, in order to discover what you can do to better the situation. So, as we are here talking about youth as the leaders of today in the positive way, halfway we have started the process of self-discovery. And when we are, as we have actualized this now, we also need to take this and impact the nearer people. So, first of all, we need to start the process of sensitization. You understand? We need to tell the next youth that, hey, this 5,000 I are going to receive during election is not going to take you up to 1 week. And this is Nigeria. When I was in primary school, a cup of rice was 10 naira, a cup of beans was 10 naira. But now you are buying a cup of beans for 450, 500. And then you are taking the same 5,000 naira people took 15 years ago, now just to even kill a brother because you want to secure a vote for a politician who would possibly disappear into the thin air immediately he wins office. So it is now a time for us to teach our fellow youths on the need to stand up to our duties and become those a voice to the voiceless, a help to the helpless, and a hope to our nation by standing up to the right thing. And it's through this process of sensitization that we are going to get and recruit other youths to join in this process of revitalizing our Nigerian state. And then the thing is this: there is power in the people. You understand? Just like now in the situation where you get 1 million Nigerians to give you one naira. How much is that?
Million.
That's 1 million naira. So you see, when we come together to recruit other youths into buying this vision of rewriting this story, standing up for the truth, demanding accountability from our leaders, that is the time you will see that we will no longer be used as bets, we will no longer be used as an instrument of ruffling the political system and then the electoral system just to get the wrong hands into the offices, and then we continue to keep suffering. So it starts first with us discovering ourselves, our role in national development as youths, as people who has ability, as people who has the energy, as people who has the innovation. You understand? So that's the first thing. And secondly, we need to be tech wise. This is a time we should provide digital solutions to real-time problems. You understand? And how do we do this? Now, we need to start organizing tech workshops. Yes, I am always proud to say that I'm a product of Skill Up Imo. I learned graphic design, and today I own Ubuntu Media. So it means that I am inspiring other youths the positive way, whereas some youths are resorting to cybercrime as their own means of survival. Which means if they have the opportunity of being the governor of Imo State tomorrow, they might do worse things than what we are saying our leaders are doing now. So what we are supposed to do, first of all, is to start sensitization. Let us talk to the hearts of our fellow youths, those who are in the part of corruption of value, so that they will understand that the 5,000 naira today will end before 1 week, and they will still get hungry. So when we stand up to the truth and then stand up to the right thing, that's the first thing we are going to do to start rewriting this story.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you. So, Mr. Uti or Ms. Choma, do you have anything to say in regards to that?
All right, yes, I would like to say this. Um, when I said when I stated earlier, I said leadership has to do first with being able to lead yourself. Now we're talking about leadership on a wider platform now, a wider populace, and Mr. Ikechukwu has talked about sensitization. But then I also want to let us understand that, be it as it may, youth are already taking up some initiative that is effecting impact, creating disruptive ideas in our society. For example, I want to believe that we know this man called the Very Dark Man,
Yeah.
who has been leading a social justice, a social campaign on social media. And of course, his voice is already creating a whole lot of change in our political system. Because I want to understand now we are taking this back to the political sector. But if you come down to our own self, like for example, someone took this bold step to initiate this program, this talk show on talking about youth as leaders of today, paving the way for the future. That's a bold step. And it's going to, the talk show, when it goes viral, it's going to bring a viral controversies. And of course, that alone, it's a great thing to lean on. And you will agree with me that young people are already leading in various sectors. For example, take Rochato Choma here said she's the initiator of Imotech. Imotech. That's a great thing already. So you will agree with me. With all these things, you see that youth are actually doing very well in leadership. You're already taking the bold steps.
All
Thank you.
right. Thank you very much. So, moving on. Do you believe, as young Nigerian youths, that we are given the opportunity to and a chance to lead in this country? As Nigerian youth, do you believe we are given the chance to lead? Because, like I said earlier, when it comes to the government, you still see those, let me use the word, our old grandfathers, let me use that word, you still see them in the same post that youths are supposed to take up. Because some countries you see young youth as president of the country, but here we still have the old ones, and they still tell us that youth are leaders of tomorrow. So do you think in Nigeria we are given the chance as youths to take up posts, to play our roles? Are we given the chance to do that?
I think we are actually given the chance to do
Okay.
that because number one, you need to show interest in actually doing things, right? Just as Retractor Ikechukwu said, most youths are apathetic to politics in quote. Why? Because we've heard that we've heard that it's only old people that can lead us in quotes, right? It's only old people that can lead us, right? So, but if we actually take that interest, show that interest that yes, we want to do this, we want to change the narrative, right? First, by I don't know why we are revolving around politics, but let me still leverage on that, right? Joining a political party if you want to be a politician in future. I mean, if you want to be a politician in future, you need to know the game. You need to know how the game is played, right? So you enter that space, right? Another thing is when you enter that space, um, don't forget your ethics. In Rotary, in Rotract, in Rotary Rotract, there is something we call the four-way test. It's sort of an ethical principle around how we should live our daily lives. Number one, is it the truth? Number two, is it fair to all concerned? Number three, is it beneficial to all? Number four, does it build goodwill and better friendship? So when you enter that space, in as much as that environment is corrupt, yes, you know what you want, you know the vision that you have for that space. Let your ethics guide you. Okay, let your ethics guide you, and you actually have in mind or bear in mind that it's only when you attend that position that you can actually change something. It's true.
Okay.
It's very true. It's only when you attend that position that you can change something. Obviously, you can lend your ideas to the persons in power, but then it's only them on seat that can actually. But if you now want to grow to that position, you have to enter that space. And when you enter that space, in as much as the space is corrupt in quotes, have your ethics. Let your ethics still guide you.
Okay. And you think that, like you said, have your ethics and let them guide you. And you think that even having those ethics, you know that this is the reason why you're going here. And when you get into that post, don't you think those same people there, by the time you see what is going on, you're trying to infuse a change and it's not coming. Don't you think those same people are going to make you change your mind within that same sector?
Now, yes, we are humans, right?
Yeah.
We are humans, but we are stubborn as humans.
Okay.
I want to believe that if I set my mind to do things, I would actually do it. I'll actually do it. No matter how anybody would come at me, I would actually, still set my mind to that. And the next thing actually is building a community, like you said. It's not enough to be the only person talking about that thing, right? So when you enter that space, try to align yourself with persons that actually have that same vision as you. In youth now, we call it communities, right? We call it communities. In the tech space, we call it tech communities, business communities, communities in quotes, right? People that align with your vision. Because when you look back and see that, yes, these people that you've preached this vision to, they're actually there, and then they're pushing forward with you. You're human. There is that perseverance, there is that resilience to look forward, and you'll be like, yes, I know what I want, and people are already backing me up. So yes.
All right. Thank you.
Sorry, I think I have something to add to that question he asked her.
Okay.
It was just of recent, the commissioner for seaports in Akwa Ibom State tendered his resignation as the commissioner just because the governor said, if you are not ready to move with me to the All Progressives Congress, you should resign. This that goes a long way to say that this person has his core values, and he's amidst all odds, he's ready to pay whatever sacrifice just to stand by what he believes is the right thing. Now, the party you are in shouldn't necessarily be the determining factor of what you're going to do in the office you're occupying. It has nothing or less to say of what value you are going to offer in that office. So when you say this person must follow you to this place in order to maintain the office, it sometimes it suggests a corruption of value. But yes, the governor might be saying that in the best interest, which is personal to him. But then him as a person, even though this was a political appointment, he still has his own moral voice as to, yes, this is what I want, and I think this serves a greater interest. A good number of persons are applauding him for that. A good number of persons also would be against him taking that decision. But now, when it has to do with if the government is actually giving young leaders the opportunity to take on leadership role, yes, there are. In Rotaracts, I know there are people who has been in Rotaract for 10 years, but they've not even held club secretary position. And there are those who are barely 3 years. They have served as secretary, they have served in several offices. Now, what our youth must do? They must do three things. One, you have to be available. You can't be in your house and somebody will come looking for you in your house to give you offices. Then secondly, you have to be resourceful. So you should be a youth of value who has something to offer. And then you should be useful. Now, useful now is not in the negative. So you must always have something to bring to the table. And again, let me tell our fellow youths, the government is not there to provide job to all graduates. There are three things that the government owes us. One is to create that enabling environment that is going to facilitate and that is going to attract investors into the country. The government should be able to give us light. The government should be able to give us road. And then the government should be able to give us water. These are the things that, if it is available, it will now attract investors. And these investors, in turn, becomes the workforce that gets our youths employed. Now, it's not just about the government providing these things. Another thing is, are our youth self-reliant? Are they employable? And are they employers of labor? So these are the three areas we should major in for us to be the leaders of today. Because if you can't offer any value in these three areas, you are not self-reliant. You don't have any skill. You don't have nothing. So you will always be used as a toy by the political hoodlums. You understand? So first, you need to have a skill. Secondly, you need to be employable. You understand? So what will you do if you don't have any skill, if you don't have anything to offer? So nobody would give you opportunity to work or something like that. And then you have to be creative. That is being employers of labor. There are startups here and there. Youths are making waves. You understand? A good number of youths are creating startup on a daily basis, leading the tech world and doing so wonderfully well. So these are the things we need to do. But then at the back of our mind, we should always know that the government can never provide job for everybody. In that case, you need these three things to try by being self-reliant, by being employable, and also striving to be an employer of labor. So this way we can. But then, yes, I would say that to a great extent, the youths are not really having the opportunity they need to thrive. But this is not something we fold our hands and wait till whenever we'll be given that opportunity, because it's never going to come.
That's true.
It's never going to come. So we have to fight our way by creating value. We have to be a voice, just like he did mention of VDM. You understand? So we could start from somewhere. We could start from somewhere. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go on a short
Sorry,
break.
Miss Gloria. Also contributing to this, addressing the question you asked, if youth are actually given the opportunities to
Okay,
lead
okay,
Nigeria.
Mr. Oti, just hold on. Let's
Okay.
quickly go on a short break and we'll be back. We'll continue from where you stop when we get back.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, viewers. All right, welcome back, viewers. So we are still on the topic of youth as leaders of today, and trust me, it has been a wonderful interaction in the house. So, Mr. Uti, you were saying something before we went on a short break.
Yes, thank you, Miss Gloria. I wanted to address the question of youths if they are actually given the opportunity to take up some leadership positions. And I would say yes. For example, I want to speak from the angle of Rotary International. Before the year 2019, Rotaract was actually a program of Rotary International. But as at 2019, the board of directors of Rotary International came up with a policy called the Elevate Rotaract policy. And of course, Rotaract was elevated from being a program of Rotary International to a membership type of Rotary. That's to say, before now, they were not dues paying members. It was just a program of Rotary International, where these persons get sponsored by Rotary clubs. That's the Rotaractors were being sponsored fully 100% by the Rotarians and Rotary clubs. But currently, Rotaractors have been given the opportunity to lead themselves, to stand independently, and of course to even sponsor other Rotaractors and the Interact Club that is still a program of Rotary International. And to me, I think that is an opportunity given to the youth to take up some more bigger challenges and other initiatives in impacting the society. And when you talk about giving the opportunity to lead in the Nigerian context, we look at the content of our constitution. What's the constitution saying for people to be qualified to take up some leadership position? And then you will see that youth are actually included in these things. Because if you look at, for example, the age bracket given for someone to become a governor, you see that it's a youthful age. Is it for the president? It's a youthful age. Then how about academic qualifications? You see that all these things put together, youth actually have constitutional opportunities to become leaders in the society.
All right, thank you very much. So, moving on, let's talk about the barriers, because a lot of things are stopping our youths. There are a lot of, when you meet someone, they will tell you, okay, this is the reason why I can do this. What do you think are the barriers that are actually preventing our Nigerian youths from stepping into leadership in the society?
Information.
Information.
Information is power. Knowledge
Okay.
is power. Like you said, there are constitutional rights that youths have already, but then most of us don't know this, right? Most of us don't know this, probably because we are in quotes Gen Zs, right? And then we have this wrong notion that since we are Gen Zs, you are not supposed to read in quotes. You are not supposed to,
Yes.
But then, if you actually want to be a leader, if you want to be someone who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way, you have to know. So, information is power. Be voracious. Are you a leader in any capacity? Read, be voracious. So, information is actually a limiting barrier.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much,
You're welcome.
Miss Gloria. When you talk about barriers to youth having opportunity to ascend leadership positions in Nigeria, I would say that it's not really about information. Yes, some persons who aspire to ascend leadership positions don't really match the aspiration with walking the talk. You understand? So, on one side, youths who aspire to ascend this position should start taking on the necessary courses on leadership, attend seminars, get involved. You understand? Just like I did say earlier, that nobody will come to your house and give you positions. That's one. On a second note, the political system, now I'm sorry, I'm using the political system as an instance here, it has proliferated so many things. You would see a situation whereby to buy a form is 100 million naira and stuff like that. Now, leadership is not all about you having the money. There are people who have perfect template that would actually change the situation of Nigeria, but possibly they could not find the money to buy the form. You understand? So it should be made in a way that average people could also have a tool or could have the same opportunity to acquire some of these forms and then get involved. You understand? But then while you're striving to do that, you should also take up capacity building programs. You understand? Expand your portfolio. Invest in some things that could give you the opportunity because yes, for you to be a leader, for instance, if you are my leader and then you could come to beg me for 10,000 naira, you have made mess of you as being my leader. So you also need to be empowered financially. You need to have money. Yes, you also need to have the knowledge. But then what I'm asking for is why our youths are making effort to build themselves through capacity building in seeking for knowledge, exposure, experience, and all of this. They should also be they should also make effort to also expand their portfolio, their investment that could give them the opportunity to afford some of these things like getting the form. And then the political system, the people in charge of drafting our constitution should also look into some of these huge amounts that political parties map out for people to get form. You know, because it's a way of scaring some persons. Yes, you have what it means to change the narrative, but then maybe the money would be the limitation. You are working on 50 million naira as your net worth, and then the form for maybe president is 500 million. So it's obvious you're already disqualified before getting interested in it because there is no way you're going to raise people. So these are some of the areas we should look into. And then our leaders should know that, yes, like I said earlier, the presence of favor does not remove the good that should be. There are some youths who are not living up to the expectation, but there are still thriving young men, young leaders who are ready to invest their time, their energy, their strength, and then their talent in building our nation, Nigeria. And you see this in different organizations. Yes, we are the young leaders of Rotary International, and we're here talking about ways we can improve Rotaract in Imo State, improve the lives of the youth in Nigeria. And we're not just talking about youth, we are talking on how to better lives of Nigerians and even people beyond the shores of Nigeria. Because some of these things we are talking is happening in other places. And if we buy into this, it will bring about change. So thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm actually learning a lot from everything, but I think I'm gathering more knowledge from everything we are discussing. So let's move on. Now, with Nigeria facing issues like unemployment, insecurities, and brain drain, what kind of leadership do you think the youth can bring to address this problem? Because currently in Nigeria now, everyone, like you said, a lot of people now are actually getting used to the idea that you don't have to wait for the government to employ you. You have to get a skill, acquire a skill, do something for yourself to make a living. Now, what kind of, because that is a normal thing, we all know that Nigeria is facing issues of unemployment. You see someone goes to school, graduate and everything, there is no job out there. So with this current unemployment, insecurity, and all that, what kind of leadership role do you think the youth can bring to address this problem?
Before going into that question, first of all, I want us to know that no one has monopoly of violence.
Yes.
And if I am the victim of insecurity today or violence today, you might be the next victim. So it's a collective responsibility. I'm first of all talking on insecurity now. It's a collective responsibility of every Nigerian, the aged, the young, everybody needs to get involved. Because if it's not me, if it's me today, it might be you today, or it might be someone you know. That's why I said no one has monopoly of violence. So how are we going to tackle that? What type of leadership can tackle that? We have to start with the grassroots, from our small villages, from our communities at the state level, local government level. We need to have true security conscious people. Everybody needs to know that the issues that hinges on security is a responsibility of every Nigerian. And that is why when I talked about regional police and all of those things, it's a welcome development. Yes, because first of all, it places priority on the indigenous people before extending it. Because if there is no peace, there cannot be development. We are talking about youth leadership, development, national development, and all of these things. There is never any form of development that thrives in an unconducive environment, in an environment that there is no peace. So it's something that we should first of all mobilize our people, have village volunteers. Yes, I know that there are villages who are actually the one causing the problem in the this thing.
Yes,
So we
yes,
should
yeah.
look beyond just having vigilantes to having true people who are ready to protect the lives and properties of the people. So that is what the first thing we need to do. First, we need to know that anybody can be a victim of insecurity, and then secondly, we institutionalize village security networks, community security networks, local government security networks, and then expand it. From that way, we can now reduce the level of insecurity we are having in Nigeria, and it's going to pave way for faster development. Then, when it has to do with unemployment, there is a reason why when you go to university, it's called a discipline. Majorly, it's not just for you to get the certificate; it's about the certificate. And that is why we talk about certificate versus certificate. It's not the certificate that makes you who you are, but your know-how, the technical know-how of what you've studied. So it's more of you being taught how to think, how to create things. So you studied philosophy, you're not studying philosophy because you want to get a certificate. You are studying philosophy because you are in the process, you're going to be taught how to do critical thinking, how to offer real-time solutions to problems. You understand? So we should stop hinting too much on you are going to school to get certificate and then to come out and get job. No, you're actually being taught on how to be disciplined, to be able to sit down, to think on how you're going to be a solution to the problems that are in the country. So at the moment we start thinking in this line, we will be more interested in not getting job when we graduate, but in providing opportunities, in being employers of labor. So that's what I would have to say on that. So we should look beyond just graduating to get work and then focus on. There are those who are in university and they're already employers of labor. They have people working for them. So what happens to those who do not have the opportunity to even go to school? So you see, it's a big problem that if we don't start thinking on how we ourselves can become employers of labor, then we cannot solve it. Thank you on that.
All right, you're welcome.
Okay, so addressing the issue of insecurity, the kind of leadership we need to address insecurity in our society, I think our leaders need to begin to be responsive rather than being reactive. Most of the leaders we have in our country today are reactive instead of being responsive. Now, what do I mean by being responsive? Our leaders do not take time to do a proper assessment of what is actually causing the insecurities in our country. The only thing they do is once there's a situation reported to them, the next thing you see, they swing into action without thinking of the reverse effects of that their action. And of course, being silent too in some instances is also an action. Yes. For example, there is this popular saying that says, when you start taming a wild cat, you shouldn't complain when your chick starts disappearing. And that's the situation we've been facing in our country today. For example, let me use Imo State as a case study. There is this popular security outfit called Ebubago. Now, if you go to some locations in Imo State today, these people are they're actually causing more harm in the society. But these are a group of people that were called together by the government to protect the people due to insecurity. But I can tell you for free that these people are actually causing more problem and more harm in the society than protecting the people. So our leaders need to begin to be responsive rather than being reactive. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, I want to add.
Okay.
It's actually a theme of the event I'm organizing: discover, leverage, and connect.
Okay.
Like Mr. Ikechukwu said, the skills that you have, you obviously discovered them. That's one. You leverage on what you have, the opportunities that you have already, the skills that you have, the network that you have. You leverage on it to actually move forward, right? And then connect. Obviously, connect with people that you have. You know, invest in the university. There's a saying that goes, when you leave the university, who you have is actually your network, right? Who you have is your network, and then your network equals your net worth in quotes, right? So leverage on what you have, discover, then leverage, and then connect. Basically, everything that you have, use it to actually push and actually envision that solution and let it become a reality.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's move on to the next question. How do we as young people balance leadership with economic and societal pressure we face in Nigeria? How do we balance leadership with economic and societal pressure as youths?
Well, thank you very much for that question. The first step is to be less expectant.
Okay.
There is always this tendency of people looking for the problem outside themselves. And people get heartbroken when they expect so much
And get
from
nothing.
people. You understand? So when you have this sense of, I am the problem, I own it, so I need to provide a solution to it starts rewriting some ideologies, unnecessary ideologies you've built around things. You understand? So that's the first point. So we as youths and every other person should start looking inward to seek for the solution. We should be less expectant of, yes, the government is coming to build road, and then see that, in fact, let's start seeing a situation whereby nobody is coming to save us. So we are going to save ourselves. So when you talk about that, you will now start having a pragmatic leadership. In philosophy, that is what we call pragmatic philosophy. Reducing the unnecessary Occam's razor. You cut out what is not necessary, cut out the expectations, see that you are the one that is going to provide the solution. So at that moment, you will start thinking on how you can provide this solution. For instance, I'm already planning on how we can bring technocracy into Rotaract leadership in Imo State. Yes, because there are a lot of Rotaractors who are available to serve humanity, but they might be having issues with paying their club dues. But if I train somebody to be a professional graphic designer, trust me, there are days they could be getting up to 50,000 naira just by designing 10 flyers for 5,000 naira. Let's say for that, for instance. And then you've brought technological solution to a problem. So we should start thinking of ourselves as the problem. And when we see ourselves as the problem, we will start looking inwards on how we are going to provide solution to those problems. And that is, in that situation, we are going to be balancing leadership, because a leader is a problem solver. It is one of the 5 golden rules of leadership. Like I already said, one is self-discovery, self-mastery. The second is influence, the ability to inspire followership, not you forcing people to follow you. And then the third is decision making. Your ability to say, at this point, this is what we are going to do. I'm doing this in the common good and in the general interest of everybody involved. So let's do this way. And then nobody is ready to follow a coward. If you are not the answer to the problem your people you are leading has, then they are not going to follow you. So when you see yourself as the problem, and then you're looking within yourself to proffer the solution, that is when you become a pragmatic leader, offering practical solutions to the problems we have. So this way, we will now marry leadership and then this unemployment and all of these things, because everybody is now making personal effort to offer solutions that will serve the general interest.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Otu, do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, I don't really have much to say because Retractor Ikechukwu have given us virtually everything we need to strike a balance with the economic challenges. But I just want to say this. I think we need to begin to set our priorities right.
Okay.
That's all I would just have to say. Setting our priorities right can actually help strike a balance. Thank you.
So there is this question that just keeps coming, and I really
Okay.
want to ask. Is also within this political. I said I don't want to go much into politics, but I have to. So the question is, how can youths get involved with politics, even in decision making, without getting entangled with the corruption and the embezzlement and everything that happens in the political sector? How do youths impact what they have? How do they say, okay, this is how we want to do it, without getting involved with all the corruption inside the system?
That's a very brilliant question. And to answer that question, I will be taking us to socio-political philosophy.
Okay.
And in socio-political philosophy, the government was instituted as a regulatory body to actually reduce people's excesses. Now, man's need by nature is insatiable.
Yeah.
There is never a time man gets satisfied with what he has. He's always looking for more. And at this point, now sociopolitical theorists started looking for ways they can actually reduce these excesses. And that is why they go further to say that where one's freedom stops, another's freedom begins. Yes, man is said to be free by nature, but then they had to bring into the system that where that's your freedom, you think you have freedom, where it is as you are having a freedom, just know that where your own stops, another person's own begins. So it now needs a system that can regulate these excesses. And this is why sociopolitical philosophy comes in. And under here, you would see people like Karl Marx, Mahatma Gandhi, who brought in the civil disobedience theory, where civil disobedience by non-violence. Now, he was not in support of what was going on in India as an activist. He now brought in civil disobedience by non-violence. Now, we don't agree. We don't want to participate. You understand? But we can't fight. We don't want to fight the government. So, step by step, he now started recruiting people into buying into his ideology. And that was how he leveraged, that was how he delivered India from bad political eggs. You understand? So, what we can do to actually rewrite some things in Nigeria, like I already said, is first of all, myself should agree that I have a solution to this problem. Yes, there are the network of those who are ready to do whatever it takes to just make sure they get into the corridor of power are there. But then with somebody like me, and then he joins me, and then you join, before you know it, we will build that political voice. So how we are going to do this is for youths who has this positive value to start coming together as a force, to start shouting. Yes, if it's noise, if they're going to be seeing us as noisemakers, let it be that noise making. When we commit to it, remain consistent in it, some persons would start, I think these people, they have something, I think they have something good to offer. And in that way, today we are 2, tomorrow we are 3, next tomorrow we are 4. Because that is, Donald Trump did say that for you to fight a bad political system, you need to introduce more good political minded people into the system. Because you cannot fight a corrupt system from outside the system. So you need to enter inside it for you to fight the bad system. So yes, I have good values, then I should get in. Now I'm interested in being my community youth leader. You understand? And then I will start watching for another good egg. Once I see him, I pick him. Say, bro, this is what we can do to make things better. And then now there is multiplication in MLM. That is all these people that do multi-level marketing. Yeah. You know, you see, they make their money from people. Now he is just here standing alone. He brings 2 persons. The 2 person brings 2 persons. That's 4 now. You see, they are expanding. So the more we start seeing this fight as something we need people to get involved, that is the way we are going to solve the problem. You understand? So we have to first of all agree in ourselves that we're going to bring the solution. Then we start recruiting others by non-violence. Yes, please let us not go out there to fight. No, you see, this can benefit us. This can benefit us. We start holding our leaders accountable. We can start up political debates. You understand? And invite these leaders to come up. Yes, some persons might refuse to come, but it's already sends a bad signal about them. So it's a time we should create that consciousness in the minds of our people that we need leaders who are going to take us as their business and not leaders who are just fighting their way to get into the corridor of power and then forget us. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
All right, so in addendum to what Retractor Ikechukwu have said,
Okay.
I quite agree with him with everything he has said, because there is this popular saying that in one is just a number, but two is a force. And a tree can't make a forest. So I want to say this: what if I tell you that our president actually have good plans for us as Nigerians? What if? Mark the word. Mark. What if? And then probably the problem could be from the cabinet members, the appointees, the political appointees. So we need more of good people to come into the corridors of power, and then that way we can effect whatever change we need, and then we'll not get entangled with whatever corruption is going on in the system. We just need more good people in the system. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. One last question. So, leadership starts at some point. Being a leader, it starts maybe from when you're growing up. At some point, like you said, you took the position of sanitary prefect when you were in secondary school. So, at some point now, there are children out there who are also the leaders of tomorrow. Coming up, they are looking forward to tomorrow. Look, I'm going to be this when I grow up. So, what are you going to say? Like, a child from the church, the community, because there are a lot of children take up leadership role, even for when they are very tender. From the church, they can be church choir master, choir mistress, the church, like something like that. So, can you give like a little experience of your own personal experience while growing up, like taking up leadership from a very young age? Do you have any? Do you have any experience taking up leadership from a very young age?
Thank you very much. This question is actually, it has just taken me aback.
Okay.
Yes, it has taken me aback. I can remember then I was asked not to move to primary 2 because my hand could not cross my head.
Okay.
I was a victim of that. But then, even in my primary 1, I took first position, but that was the limitation. So one day I had to go to school. I did not go to school that day, so I had to go call a neighbor that they needed to get something from in school. So I entered the class, and then my teacher, Mr. Felix is his name. I was supposed to be in primary 2 with them. So, but they refused me because my hand didn't touch my ear. So I went in to call the little girl that made it to primary 2. So he now called me, "Hey, Ovoba, so what are you doing here?" And I told her I came to call somebody that he had attention engineer at home. So he was like, "Okay, come, write a composition about yourself." I took the chalk, I started writing, I wrote. Boom. He said I must enter primary 2. It was a fight between him and the headmaster, So that was, then I was very happy, and then they took me to the headmaster. He now interviewed me and saw that I was intelligent. You understand? So that was how I joined my classmates and entered primary 2, and from there I was given scholarship till I finished primary school. I never took second position all through my life.
Wow.
Down to secondary school, I was the class prefect. Till SS2, I was the senior prefect, and then entered the seminary. Yes, I'm actually an ex-seminarian. So there, I came to Owerri, and I'm originally from Ebonyi State. So they were like, wow, Abakaliki, you don't know anything. You should come. Let's teach you. If not, you're going to fail. I was like, how come? So for some persons, that was supposed to be a demoralizing thing, but I saw it as a positive challenge. Now, we wrote 26 courses in our year 1. I had 23 A's, 2 B's, and 1 C. And that guy that told me I was going to fail if I did not come to him to teach me, he's from Imo State, and he had 12 carryovers. And in the seminary, if you get 3 carryover, you're leaving. So he didn't, when I was going to the notice board I went with a matriculation booklet not to check my results, but I was interested in checking his own. So when I saw him, I called him. I said, Vincent, my guy, that kind of thing. So it has been leadership right from day one. And then I vied for assistant secretary one, vied for SUG treasurer one, vied for SUG secretary general one. But then my mom died when I was 10. My dad was a political servant, a public servant. So he hardly comes home maybe once in a month. So as at the age of 10, our husband was 3 months when my mom died. So I became a leader, going to the farm, going to the market, doing so many things. So it has been something that, in fact, life is leadership
Yes.
in everything. That's why in philosophy they say man is a political, ens politicus. Man is by nature a political being. Man is by nature a rational being. Man is by nature a leader. So from everything we do to how you manage your house to how you carry yourself, this is all about leadership. But then, when you want to actually take it more intentional, you have to start paying the price because there's always a price payment for every success. So, if you want to contribute to the national development as a leader, it takes more to just leading yourself, organizing your house, and stuff like that. You have to go out there, attend seminars, get involved in so many things, and those things gives you the reach, it gives you the experience, it gives you the knowledge, and it connects you to people. Sometimes it's not just about the effort you're making. It's somebody you meet on your walkway that could actually take you to that position you are looking for, and then you make the change. So that's what I have to. That's my little experience about leadership. And now, July 1st, I will be assuming the office as the leader of Rotaract in Imo State. So
Congratulations.
it's all about making impact and changing lives. Thank you.
All right. So, Miss Choma, do you have any personal experience
Of
growing
course,
up? Okay.
like I said, you started
Yeah.
with that example, right? So, as a leader, you have to be a solution provider, as Retractor Kichku said. Now, my own started with from the home. My mom will always say, "Don't litter, peek in the parlor," right? Because on Saturdays we always want to watch TV with the family and all that. And then you're tempted after eating, you're tempted to drop. So she will always say, "Peek, right? Don't litter." So when I entered school and all that, like I said, Sancho Prefect, I peaked. I was not like everybody that littered, and everyone I would be like, "Peek, why not peek? Why not do this?" Right? So it starts with doing something, and then obviously everybody's watching you, right? So when it comes for when the opportunity opens up, people will always remember that, okay, this person actually did something close to this, right? So as a leader, be a solution. You see something, there's a problem, you know that this is a problem, and then you have the resources in quotes such as knowledge, maybe the tech skill, the vocational skill to actually carry this and be that solution, be the solution, be that solution.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Ose.
Yeah, Miss Gloria, my leadership experience actually started the very first day I was given birth to. Being the first child of my family,
That makes the both of
I've
us.
been I've been someone the family have been looking up to, my siblings, and of course even my parents at this age. And of course, I also want to talk about being in Rotary. I've been in Rotary for the past 16 years, and it's been from one leadership position to another. Even the various sectors I've worked with. When I was serving as a core member in 2015, back then in Imo State University, Owerri, it's been from one leadership position to another. Right to when I was working in the banking sector, I mean Diamond Bank, the defunct Diamond Bank. I actually headed the customer service unit in my own branch back then. And of course, subsequently in 2018, I was the head of the customer service bank wide, the whole of Diamond Bank bank wide, till I left the system. So, I mean, if I want to begin to share my leadership experience, we may not live here today. So, it's
Okay.
been from one leadership position to another. And of course, leadership, aside being a solution provider, you have to be a mentor. You have to be a mentor. So, we've been leaders from birth till today. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. That is wonderful. So, like I said, that makes the both of us because being the first child in the family, you are actually a leader. So I started mine when I was still growing up. My mom
You
would
mean
tell
both
me,
of us or the three of us?
okay, yeah, once I get. So because my mom would tell me, then you are the first child, you don't have to slack back and behind. You have to do this, you have to do that. To the extent, okay, I think I was 10 then. She traveled, and my baby brother was about 7, 8 months, and she couldn't go with him, so she left him under my care. So I became a mother at 10 because I was supposed to babysit him and make sure he was okay and every other thing. So I think being a leader starts from the home. Your leadership experience starts from the home. How you organize your immediate environment and yourself as a person. So, coming to the conclusion, do you have anything to say to the youth out there when it comes to youth being the leaders of today and tomorrow? For the young ones that are still coming up that are thinking, I want to go into this, I want to do this. How will I do it with this whole mess in the country and everything? So, what are your advice to those aspiring to go somewhere or to be in a particular position but don't know how to go about it? What routes to take or how to achieve their aims? So, what are your advice to those youths out there?
If you want to be a good leader, join Rotaract.
Okay.
Yes, that is my advice. That's just the summation of everything we've said. But first of all, I would like to talk to all families because the family is the nucleus of every society. That there is insurrection in Nigeria. It's just this person that came out from this family and this person that came out from this family, and they join forces, and there is the insurrection. So for every person causing trouble, he has a trace to a family. So the first point of contact is our different homes should do more to raise morally conscious children who will grow into youths, who will grow into adults. Because if this starts from the home, then we are going to have a seamless and fast growing Nigeria. Now, concerning my final advice to the youths, please, the next place to be is in Rotaract. This is an organization that trains you in everything you need to be a balanced person. If you used to be a shy person, you cannot talk to a crowd, please, once you join Rotaract, I give you just 6 months and you are going to be a professional public speaker. I don't need to prepare for any speech right now. And I cannot imagine, if you like, bring 100 million persons here. I will talk to them like I'm not seeing anybody. And I will communicate what is in my mind. That is one of the gifts Rotaract is going to give to you. So Rotary is a professional service organization that gives you the platform to develop yourself as a person. Because we believe that you cannot offer if you don't have. So, first of all, is self-development, personal development, professional development. This is what we do through the several leadership workshops. Just as we are preparing to welcome the new Rotary year, we have over 7 different leadership trainings. We had one on Saturday at Greatwood Hotel, where I was one of the facilitators. So it gives you the platform to grow yourself before you talk about giving to the society. So if you have interest in being a leader with influence and not a leader with a gun, Rotaract should be where you should come. Rotary is where you should come. And then attend other several leadership summits. It's going to give you the exposure. And then build yourself, believe in yourself, and start gathering more, small, until you be a beacon of leader. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ikechukwu. So, Ms. Choma,
Yes, thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Thank you. Dear youth, your vision is valid. Your solution is valid. Okay. Leverage every place you find yourself, every community you find yourself, every WhatsApp group you find yourself, every volunteer organization you find yourself. Leverage that place and show yourself. Show yourself, even if you're not the leader in quotes, that big position, show yourself. Lead.
Thank you very much.
All right. My advice to youth out there is I just want to say this that leadership is no longer about age or position. That's if it has ever been. Leadership is actually about initiative, taking initiative, making impact, and of course, the vision you have. So, I want to advise our youth they should build communities that can actually take bold and positive initiative to make impacts in the society. That way, we will take leadership today and, of course, pave way for ourselves tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So, our viewers, you've heard from our guests in the studio today. So, as a youth out there, do well to do something that improves you and join communities and join clubs that have positive impacts in your life, so as to become a good leader tomorrow. So, thank you all for watching, and please do well to follow us on our Facebook page at Serenity TV. Watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please leave your comments and your opinion on our comment section. God bless you, and thanks for watching. Bye.